Hi everyone. This is going to be our first video of a couple lessons to come here. We're going to start doing this every week to make sure everybody knows how to do the work that is being sent home to you, kind of going over some of the directions and answering some questions for you guys. In front of me right now I have our lesson plan sheet that everyone should have. Make sure I include this with all of our packets and through the emails so that it's kind of broken down to each day, so that your child is not doing all in one day, all this work. So I broke it down to make it a little easier. The students should already know or be used to this, because this is how my classes run every week to make it easy for the students so that they know what's going on in the class to make it consistent. So today is Monday. On Mondays, we always start out with the spelling test that was given. The words were given the previous week. So the sheet that you have to give the spelling test should look like this. I always put the number at the top so we know what spelling test number it is. So this week is spelling test number 28, and I always have the date that they should be taking it on. So there is always 15 words and a bonus word. The bonus word, if they get it right, they get an extra point. If they get it wrong, it does not affect them. So if any of your students have been taking home their spelling test after it's been graded, which they should be, you guys will be able to see that. So all you have to do to give that spelling test is give them the word. I always usually put it into a sentence. And I usually put it in the sentence so that they know what word or the definition that goes along with it, in case there's a word like buy, either by or buy. So I put those in a sentence to make sure that they understand which buy we're talking about. So that part's pretty easy. When they're finished taking that test, if you could just take a picture of it, send it to me through email. If you're not understanding how to do with the email, or you're having trouble, you could always text it to me if you have my cell phone number. You could always do that as well. Then the kids will get the new spelling list, which this week should be spelling list number 29. We're kind of focusing this week on days of the week, the months, and then obviously you have some words at the bottom, like year, holiday, season, calendar, and our bonus word is autumn. So I'm going to read through these words for the students here to make it a little easier. I usually do this every time I give them a new spelling list so that they know what the words sound like. Once they usually hear it, they're pretty familiar with it. So number 1, Tuesday. We have number 2, Wednesday. Number 3, Thursday. Number 4, Saturday. Number 5, January. Number 6, February. Number 7, July. Number 8, August. Number 9, September. Number 10, November. Number 11, month. Number 12, year. Number 13, holiday. Number 14, season. Number 15, calendar. And then our bonus word is autumn. Now, with these words, the ones that are capitalized should stay capitalized. Remember, we've talked about, months and days of the week should be capitalized. So anytime you're using those in a sentence or writing them down, those should be capitalized. So when you guys are writing your 5 times each or definitions, make sure when you're using those words, especially in sentences, that those are capitalized. After they get their spelling words, if you look back onto the lesson plan sheet, you will see that after they get their new spelling words, they will need to look up a definition for each word, write each word 5 times each, and write a sentence using each word correctly along with the definition there. They are used to this. If you ever look in the bottom of the spelling word list, you'll see www.dictionary.com. That is what the children usually use on their laptop at school to look up those definitions. If you have a dictionary that makes it easier, go for it. Whatever way to find those definitions is fine. Using Google. If you have a laptop or if you have a phone or some technology, it actually is pretty easy just to go on dictionary.com, type in that word, and they just write down the definition. And then again, writing each word 5 times each and writing a sentence using each word. So that's pretty self-explanatory. They did this last week, so if you helped your child along with this, you know what you're doing there. Next is we're going to do religion. So you'll see on the paper, after doing your definitions, all that, you have your child read chapter 17 in our religion book. So here I've copied and sent to you guys each page. So this week's topic is we respect what God has given us. Okay, so this is what the first page should look like. Again, we're on chapter 17. On the back on page, what are we at here, 142, there's always some parts that kind of like go along with the reading and questions for the kids to answer throughout the reading. So the first one here says signs of respect. It says read the sentences and fill the letters to complete the missing words. Remember that the children are always able to go back into the reading to find answers. That's one big thing in fourth grade that we try to focus on, is allowing the students to go back into the reading to find answers. When they're taking their state tests, that's a big thing with some of the questions. You're always allowed to go back into the reading and look at that. So go ahead and fill those words out by looking back into the reading and write the correct letters on the line. The children, again, have done this before, so they're pretty familiar with how this goes. And I've had a lot of assignments doing the same thing. On the next page, we have kind of like some matching type things here. It says put a check mark on the blank if the sentence is about someone who's following either the 7th or 10th commandment. If the sentence is about someone not keeping either commandment, write the letter of the answer that tells what wrong is being done. So you're either putting a check mark if it goes along with either the 7th or 10th commandment, and if it does not go with either one of those, write the letter of what is being done wrong. So they're either stealing, letter A, letter B is cheating, letter C is envy, and letter D is damaging property. And then you just write that on these little lines here for 1 through 10. So either doing a check mark or writing A, B, C, or D. So pretty self-explanatory there. Again, if they have some trouble, feel free to help them out a little bit with what those words are, like envy and damaging property. And it's always good to work along with the student too, not necessarily giving them the answers, but if they do have questions, always be there to help them out a little bit. The next page, on page 144, it says a moment with Jesus. You don't necessarily have to do that with your child or have your child do it, but feel free to talk about it with them. Those are always usually pretty good things that go along with the readings as well. The next page here, we have another activity. It says unjust acts cause harm. It says respecting people's rights is just. Acts against the 7th and 10th commandments are unjust. They cause harm and make us sad and fearful. They break down peace in the world and in our hearts. It says read each unjust act in the first column. Find each one's unhappy result in the second column. Write the letter of the answer on the line. So again, you're just going to match. So like number 1, houses on a block are broken into. You find whether it be A through F and mark that on the line there with the letter. And what I always tell the students is to cross it off after they use it so that they know that it's already been used. After they've used a couple and they get down to the last 2, they know, okay, well, I can only choose from these 2, the process of elimination there. So I always try to use that little strategy with them so that it's a little easier for them to find the answers. And then at the bottom is kind of like a little fun little, what do you call it? I guess you could say finding your way there. It says find your way to peace by keeping the commandments and avoiding unjust acts. So essentially you're going to start where it says start, follow along, and try to get to where it says peace at the bottom there. Okay, so pretty easy as well. And then on the back page here, under the review, students don't really have to do anything, but if you would like to read that with your student, your child here, building family faith, there's always that at the bottom that you could always talk to your child about, just kind of get you guys involved and bring it together. Faith is obviously a big thing with our school and ourselves and myself, especially now with all the coronavirus things going on. I think that we need to come together and have a good faith and pray about it. The more praying we do, the more help we get from God. So I think it's a great way to come together as a family and explain that to your child as well. So that was one of the last things to do on Monday, so the first day here. And the other thing that we like to do whenever the students maybe have a little free time or they get finished early, have your child go to typingclub.com. Typingclub.com is a website that they're very used to that helps them type. So it involves kind of like some games or try to get to different levels just by practicing their typing. So it gives them some activities to do. And then you also have readworks.org. Now readworks, I actually put articles on there for them to read. Again, they're used to that. If your child has not been on it before, for some reason, if they type in the class code for readworks, T5ZA5H, that will get them into that. They'll be able to see the articles and answer the questions. I'm able to see when they have logged in and what articles they've done and how they did on the answers. So, also if they're throughout the day, even on the weekend, if they're, acting up a little bit, have them get on that, get them some extra work. So it's always a good thing to have. All right. My next video will be on lesson 2, which will be for the Tuesday one. And again, if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys send an email to me. I've emailed all of this stuff to you guys, whether you picked up a packet or not. So feel free to reach out to me. All right. Have a blessed day.